Hello and welcome to Remant 2. Today we're going to be doing a themed build. It's all about Yeisha, crystals, the Lemire, things like that. Is it super optimal and amazing? No. But is it kind of fun? I think so. I haven't actually tested it yet, so we're gonna be just doing that together. So, crystal inspired. We've got the full radiant armor on because that is from the Lemire and they're all about using and manipulating crystal energies, magics, and things. We've got the lodestone crown because, it's got a giant crystal on the front. And then it also synergizes with the ring we have equipped, the lodestone ring, which increases how much damage we deal against illuminated enemies by 5%. It's not a lot. It's really not an amazing option for damage increase. Supposedly, I've read a bunch of things that say those two together make you immune to blights or more resistant to blights because this makes you really resistant. I have not actually tried it myself, so we'll kind of discover it together. And then after that, we've got on the Lemire sensor as our amulet, so it increases our mod duration by 50%, but it does make them a little more expensive. The cost increase isn't really that bad, I don't think, so I think it's going to be worth it for us. We've got the Wind Hollow Circlet on for increased reload speed, Stone of Balance for increased damage by 7%, all of our damage, and the Archer's Crest, increasing our projectile speed and weapon charge time. For our weapons, we have the crossbow. You get crossbow and Yeisha, so I think it fits pretty well. Editing pseudo here. A couple things I need to correct before the video gets super far. The Song of Aether. Throughout the video, I'm going to say that it increases the amount of damage that enemies take from you. That is not correct. It reduces the damage that they deal. So, yeah, keep that in mind. I say it the entire time. Every time I talk about it, I'm wrong. Just wrong each time. The next thing. For Soulbinder, it is not affected by amplitude, it's affected by resonance. So if you want to have a large radius for what it's going to hit, you need to put points into resonance. It does make a pretty good difference, actually. I messed around with it a little bit, and its ability to hit more guys is pretty nice. And the absolute last thing, I'm also going to roll into the Endaira's End dungeon, which is bugged right now from my understanding. Seen a lot of people who say they can't roll it, can't seem to get it at all. And so I was like, oh wow, look, I actually got it. Maybe they fixed it, or maybe it's not as crazy as I thought. I'm really lucky. As not the case. I'm in my story mode. I rolled this story mode before all the event stuff and big updates happened, so I technically already had it. So I don't think that's me having it means anything. But that's it. Enjoy the rest. We put the Song of Aether on there, so you shoot it off, deals a bunch of damage to flying enemies, staggers pretty much everybody in general, and then in addition, it's going to slow guys in the radius and increase the amount of damage that they take. And you can see it lasts for 22 seconds and 22 and a half seconds because we've got that sensor on. I also have points in amplitude, so it's a larger radius. Our melee weapon is a Blade of Gull, which is, I don't know, I think any of the Yeisha weapons will work, but I'm not too concerned about this one. And the Disengage Mutator is kind of whatever. Speaking of mutators, I have a new one in the crossbow. It's a top heavy, so the range damage is increased by up to 15% based on how close the magazine capacity is to full. So every time we take a shot, it should be full, so it's a 15% damage increase. And then its weak spot damage is increased by up to 20% based on how close the magazine capacity is to full, which again is 20% each time. So it's a nice little chunk of damage. If you don't really like the top heavy one, in one of my other builds for the crossbow, I use the Slayer one. So reloading the damage of the weapon increases its next shot damage by 20%, and then increases the reload speed by 15%. They have pretty similar damage amounts in the end. When I was testing it, I think the Slayer has kind of an overall better DPS, but the top heavy one is just going to get you consistent, each shot is always going to be consistent damage, and it's also just going to get the better weak spot hits because it's it's got the weak spot damage increase. But the Slayer one the Slayer one does choking. The Slayer one does increase your reload speed, which is why you tend to get the better DPS because you're just able to shoot faster. And then our handgun is a Bolt Driver, another one you get from Yeisha. We put the Soulbinder on there so that you hit the guys with that deals a little bit of damage, and then anytime you deal damage to them, it shares that damage among them, lasting for 22 and a half seconds because we've got that increased duration. And then the radius should be larger. I think that's a larger number than normal, but my brain isn't working right now too. So we got that. We've got sequence shot in it too, so that charge shots decrease charge time of subsequent charge shots by 35% for 3 seconds. So once we take that first shot, all the next shots are going to be faster. In addition, while it's active, the primary shots gain increased crit chance per round spent. So each time we shoot, it's going to stack it up pretty quickly. The sequence shot really only works for these like fusion type rifle things. So I wouldn't recommend using it on a bow, but for like this one and the, what's it called? Alpha and Omega, right here. This one also works really well with that sequence shot, but that's its own thing. Our relic, we are using the Ripened Heart. It's one you get from Yeisha. I did do increased crit chance and ranged crit damage because, like I said, this one just is increasing. This mutator is increasing the weak point damage on our crossbow, but with this one, we're getting that extra crit chance. So I figured I would just start stacking up a bit more crit chance on top of that and then critical hit damage. And then we went ahead and put some maximum health on there as well. For our archetypes, I think I opted to take the Hunter as my primary. I think you could make an argument for using Archon if you want to do kind of like the Lemire crystal magic idea, but these mods, I don't really need that whole like leaning heavy into the mod damage thing. If we were doing some different mods, like say the Crystal Burst, which does, you know, damage, and it's a nice little shotgun blast, and then maybe we were running the Sagittarius, which is a nice AoE damage as well. Do things like that. That would be some good like mod type damage that we could lean into as an Archon thing. But yeah, I'm just opting for general range damage with the Hunter, and then we're taking the Handler as our secondary. Main reason for that is because you've got the Ravager, the Black Wolf, and so I thought Spirit of the Wolf, you know, having the dog kind of fulfills the same spirit of the idea. In addition, it increases some of our range damage, and you just get some general nice perks for having the dog. And last but not least, we have our traits. So we've got the long shot and kinship, thanks to our two primaries, or our two archetypes. Kinship isn't going to really do a whole lot for us because we're not doing a lot of like AoE, possibly friendly fire type stuff, but the long shot's kind of nice. We got points in triage for healing, points in regrowth for regeneration. I considered taking just Summoner in general because Summoner is one that you get from Yeisha, but we didn't, so I took the points into it. Vigor, maxing that out as naturally. Points in Amplitude, helping out with some of our other abilities. Barkskin, I just decided to do Barkskin this time instead of Fortify because I always take Fortify, so we're just going to do something different this time. A couple points in Endurance and Recovery because that's my normal stamina quality of life. Few points into Spirit, so we get a little bit more power generation, and then a couple points in Expertise to hit 5 points and get our reduced skill cooldowns. With that, let's go ahead and take it out for a spin. Now, I have used builds that are similar to this in the past, and they have been a bit of fun. Song of Aether is a blast. I do really enjoy it. It can absolutely devastate some flying enemies. You can also, it's just got some great, you know, quality of life things. The damage increase is fantastic. It helps out with your team, and sort of the same thing with the Soulbinder on our Bolt Driver right now, is that the extra like AoE damage that you can get on enemies is fantastic in a team setting because you can hit it on a guy and then you can just rely on your allies dealing lots of random damage around the place, and suddenly you guys are just popping out all kinds of AoE damage thanks to the effect of that mod. So that is something that's really nice. I've used it on, what's her called, the Nightweaver before. Whenever she summons spiders, you just put the Soulbinder on there, keep dealing damage to her, and those spiders will get melted as soon as they show up. And it's just kind of nice on some of the additional adds. You can run it with the melee damage as well, so that you're getting that like bonus, like you hit a dude, start hitting them with some melee, and that's going to deal AoE damage from there. It also works with damage over time effects. So with our dog, if we go out and we hit that dude, that bleed effect is going to be doing damage to the enemies. It's not a lot, but it is a little chunk of damage. See, took out those birds. And then there he goes. We're going to hit this right there. See how big that radius is thanks to the amplitude? So now these roller guys are super slow. We're not going to have any issues with getting rid of them. And we're just going to let the dog go finish them off. And maybe kind of clear some of the guys on the side. Something that's really nice too, that Archer Signet really makes our Bolt Driver shoot so much faster on top of the sequenced mutator. So our Bolt Driver is able to pump out a lot of damage really fast. So that's going to be pretty nice. There's some of those guys. Let's clear them. Gotta watch out for these deer. Sorry, deer. Don't trust you though. Too many bad experiences. Chunk. Now for the skill that I have on the dog, right? It kind of doesn't matter because it's really just whatever your situation is. If you want him to take more damage, which is probably the correct choice, send him in, let him take the aggro, and then you can just send down damage from downrange. That's probably the correct choice. I have attack dog on so that my dog is dealing more damage. I can do more damage, all those kinds of things. Go get him, dog. And make sure you're actually using your dog well. You know, you want to make sure that you try and send him in first, rely on him to finish things. That's going to help you out with your ammo, things like that. Except he just doesn't want to get the guy. There he goes. Alright, there's a big guy right there. So what we're going to do, if we have this fully charged up, we could actually use the Song of Aether to help finish him. Because it's going to do a ton of damage. It's going to slow him down. But with some solid shots like this, we're actually going to finish him off. No problem from a big distance. We need to be careful for more rollers though. So we're going to roll around like that. Let the dog get rid of them while we regenerate a little bit. And watch out for that big guy. Wherever it's at. There you are. See ya. Now I will say too, because of the Lemire sensor, which increases our mod cost by 15%, an option you could try and take, instead of the Wind Hollow Circlet, or honestly, instead of Lodestone Ring, because Lodestone Ring is not doing a lot for us. If you want to stick to a Yeisha theme, put on the Spirit Stone. That's going to help kind of mitigate some of the costs for our mod. You could also throw in a rune into our relic to reduce those mod costs again. Once again, just kind of reducing the cost for the Lemire sensor. But for the most part, this only costs 1,000, so 1150 isn't like a huge jump. It kind of is, but it's kind of not. Same thing with this one. The Soulbinder is already a fairly cheap mod. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is that you should need to make sure that you are saving those mods for when you really want them, because they do cost more. But that extra duration is really nice, and you can definitely use it on some other mods. You can make some of your other things last for a very long time. Alright, we are at Endaira's End, which is, that's kind of funny because the past like couple days since the update for Halloween-y kind of things and the mutators ended, I've seen all kinds of people talking about how they can never get Endaira's End. So the fact that I've gotten here is a little weird. I don't know if they fixed something or there just never was an issue to begin with and people were just really unlucky. Not sure, but here it is. So let's run through it. Dog is kind of starting us off, which is great. There's that nice weak point damage thanks to that, you know, mutator amount. Let the dog finish him if he can actually hit him. Thanks, boy. Now, a lot of this, we're going to kind of rely on some of our mobility to avoid some damage, because while I didn't take points in swiftness, the handler does increase our movement speed, so you can definitely rely on that to keep you kind of safe by just putting yourself in better positions, relying on the dog to kind of re-engage with enemies and deal damage. And as we pull lots more enemies here, watching our side there, using our ears, oh, missed him, roll to the side, make sure we're taking cover so we're not getting clipped, and then we're good. And something you can definitely do is you can rely on the Song of Aether to kind of like hit guys behind walls and slow them down so you can get in close and then finish them. So what I'm going to try and do is look for a good spot where I can do a big AoE slow, rely on the Soulbinder and see it do a lot of AoE damage. So, god dang it. That's a bad thing with it, is there's a bit of a flight time with it. So it can be kind of hard to effectively hit the Soulbinder ability, which is a bit of a shame. Let's activate this, move forward, then we're going to hit him there. That's going to slow dudes down. They're going to take more damage. And now we're just that much safer when we try and clear guys who walk into this whole area. You see, they're already slowed over there. The dog is messing them up. And another option, while we're kind of on the subject thinking about things, as far as like rings and using the Song of Aether and the dog, on a lot of those enemies, we've got two types of, you know, negative status effects on the enemies. I say negative, all the status effects are negative. So we've got bleeding from the dog. Song of Aether is going to slow them. So probably a better bet instead of the Lodestone Ring would be to take the Ahunai Crystal, because it is a crystal ring, right? That's, if I'm doing a crystal build, this is probably what I should be doing. But we deal 5% additional damage for each status effect the target is suffering from. So if you wanted to lean a little bit better into some of those status effects, you could absolutely run that and just deal a lot more damage. The, what's it called? The Krell Axe would be a great choice because you can use that to apply shocked and overloaded to the enemies. So that's another negative status effect. And then you're just dealing more damage. And since we're talking about it, that's what I think we're going to do. We're going to get rid of this dude and then roll away from that. Then we're going to put on the Ahunai Crystal and we're going to give that a go. So now we can get some sweet weak point hits right there, and then start unloading like this. Our Soul Binder is charged up, so when these other enemies get close, we can actually rely on that to deal some good AoE damage. One shot there again. That was 3,000 damage, which is fantastic. I was greedy there, so what happened is I took my one shot and I should have rolled right away because I knew it was going to explode. But I tried to take a second shot, got staggered by the explosion, and then his tentacle hit was able to hit me because I was staggered. So the moral of the story is play it safe, because if you get greedy, you die and then you have to start over. Alright, so we've swapped things a little bit. We've got the Ahadnai Crystal on instead of the Lodestone one. So we went ahead and put on the Radiant Visage. We've got the Krell Axe on, and now we've got Misfortune on there as well, so that melee damage is increased for each unique negative status effect the target is suffering from. But our charged melee attacks are going to be applying slow, which is the main drawing point for it. Another good choice would be one for the charge attacks, or, I don't know, something else. So we watch them. Dog went left, so we can focus on right. 2,800 damage. Like I said, the top heavy is a really good mutator for the crossbow. I found it to do a lot of good work. So let's go ahead and hit this over there. That's going to slow all of them. Oops, I was trying to shoot my axe, or throw the axe, not shoot it. Okay, we hit him. Boom. Yeah, look at that AoE damage. Isn't that nice? We were able to just ping him a couple times and then do a lot of damage to all his friends around there. Didn't quite clip him or finish him, but that's okay. And then we just watch the side. And thanks to that slow, you know, we're able to just play it safe from him. We're able to casually avoid some of his attacks and then pick him off. There's still one dude left, but the dog is on him. Easy. Oh, hi, dude. Missed. Oh, come on. There we go. Nice. Lots of critical hits on this thing because it's got a up to 20% there. The baseline critical chance is 10% as well. So we're looking at like nearly a 50% critical hit chance on that bolt driver once we really start getting it moving. Look at that. See how many of them start going with it too? Isn't that fantastic? And just having the dog on there too, getting bleed on enemies, is really going to help us out with the increased damage and status effects. Okay. Are you alright, bud? Do you want some help? Oh, he's better. Okay. There we go. Bam. There he goes. Alright, there's an elite there, dude. Alright. Let's go ahead and move back. We're going to reload the bolt driver. I'm going to play it a little safe. Let's go ahead. Wait a second. Get our damage buff going. Hunter's Mark. And then, let's go ahead and hit that dude. Except he died, so we kind of lost out on all the bonus damage there, which is really a shame. The correct move would be to use it on this dude, and then any damage we do to him will just split around to the other enemies. But it kind of doesn't matter because they're all dead already. Roll back. Ooh, messed it up somehow, but we can roll out of that stagger. Hit him with the slow and increased damage. Get a lightning charge on him. Now he's slowed, bleeding, shocked. That's lots of bonus damage. Look how much damage our bolt driver's doing. Lots of consistent DPS. Very nice. Now, something you could do with this, because like I said, there's a bunch of the effects on here are great for like your team, because you can do the Soul Binder for splitting the damage, the Song of Aether to increase your teammates' damage. The dog provides a ton of utility for your teammates as well. Something else you could do is swap out your relic for another Yeisha inspired one. You could go with the Pulsing Heart for its healing allies around you. Go with the Blooming Heart, dropping healing orbs to heal allies and stuff, or yourself. So there's a lot of extra like utility team potential going on here. But let's go ahead and walk in here. We're going to take on some double elite dudes. Hopefully we'll be okay. While we're thinking about it, I've read that the Lodestone Crown can reveal illusory walls. So let's test that right now. No. It does not. Alright, what if I put on the ring too? Maybe that's the key, right? Where is it at? No, nothing. Okay. People spreading all kinds of crazy rumors and stuff. Alright, as we get around here, this can be pretty dangerous. The water's dangerous. There are two elites up here. So we start with the dog buffing. Send them in. Those guys are pretty scary. We're going to hit him with a Soul Binder. It's going to help us out with the other dude as well. Bang. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't hit shit for some reason. There we go. If I can get the Song of Aether going, that would be fantastic. We need to use a relic. What I should probably have had on is the dogs increase damage, and that would have made a pretty big difference for us. We need to roll out of that. I'm making a lot of bad plays here. I was trying to get the axe to throw so that I could get more status effects and slow on the enemy. We're going to roll out of this, stay away from him, get an axe ready, hit him, we missed him, throw it again. And what we want to do is the Song of Aether to get everybody slowed up, and now we can just start unloading. Let's hit him with this. Well, I was way too early on that, but that's okay. The slow really janked it up. Hit him with an axe. Look at that extra damage. It's just kind of spreading thanks to the Soul Binder. The slow is making huge, huge plays for us. And then increasing the damage allowed our dog to just stay on top of that dude while we shot them from a distance. Very good setup. Song of Aether is just very nice. Very good. Now we've swapped to the guard dog because I want him to take a little bit more aggro for us and be a little bit more durable. I haven't actually put any points into rugged, so that would be something you might normally do if you're taking like the handler or some other kind of like minion based type thing, is you want your minions to survive. But we obviously didn't do that. Instead, I was just relying on him not dying and me using relics, which frankly I have hardly used at all because I still have 9 charges left. But now we can send him in first. He's going to start taking the aggro, be a lot more durable, and then let's see here. Nobody's close. I really want to use the Soul Bind more. Here we go. Here's an opportunity. Chunk. I hit somebody. Yeah, dropped off both of them. Was it worth it? Probably not. But is it fun? Yeah, it is. Definitely a lot better on your big targets, elites and bosses. Or say, for example, you use it for Keula. On the tentacle phase, you could hit one dude with one of those soul binder things, and then suddenly, you know, you're doing a lot of extra damage to all of them at once. And like I said, it's just really nice for team play. There's a lot more enemies when you're doing multiplayer. They tend to be just like, you know, a little bit sturdier and whatnot. Like, I don't know that their health is actually increased. They definitely seem to do more damage. But with the teams, just having lots of extra damage coming from places, you're going to see a lot of numbers going off, especially if you have a minion person. Just lots of stuff happening. We're going to send the dog over there because we see that dude floating right there. Actually, we should have him going to the left. There we are. Hi, come on. Oh, I missed. Later, friend. Alright, he's doing a lot of work. We missed. Roll out of there while he does his barrage. Missed again. We're going to pull back a little bit. Activate our dog's aggro ability. Get him to come towards us, maybe. I'm still reloading. One shot down. I really wanted to throw the axe. That worked out. Nice. Good damage. Really like the bolt driver. Let's go ahead and use a relic now. That's going to heal us and our dog while boosting his damage and everything. There we go. Watching the backside. Any more dudes? We got more. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Roll. Whoop. He's gone. Alright, Song of Aether. Hit this. Now we're going to hit him with a Soul Binder. He doesn't take very much damage, but on the plus side, it's still going to kind of help with the extra dude. There that is. Let's get a couple shots on it. Yeah. Now the slow, the interesting thing with the slow is it really delays, owie, how long that thing is out. Scary thing with slow as well is a lot of their animations get weird, and then I have a hard time dodging them correctly. So let's activate this. Ping. 1, 2, 3. Let's hit him with a lightning and slow, and then we navigate out of there. Get rid of the extra adds. There we go, just a 1, I guess. Move to the side. Get our 1 shot in there, keeping our distance. Almost 2 shots. Dog is doing great. Let's give him a damage reduction boost. We're getting low on our bolt driver ammo, which is a bit of a bummer. There we go. We got a good shot on it there. Let's hit him with a slow and lightning. There we are. Hit him with another one. We'll just keep doing that for now. Kind of save our ammo. There we go. It's going to really mess up his like offensive capabilities. There we go. Nice. Good throw. Alright, last wave of dudes. Let's clear them out and then call this run good for now. Pull it back a little bit more. We've got the Song of Aether charged. And then, bang. Slowed him down. 1, 2, 3. There you go. One more dude with 1 HP. There we go. Nice. The extra radius is just fantastic on the Song of Aether. Catch so many enemies. So helpful. And then he's gone. And there it is. We made it to the end. There's some things you can do in the maze. I'm not going to do it right now. But solid stuff. Solid stuff. I do enjoy this build. I like the Song of Aether. The Krell Axe is a lot of fun. Bolt Driver is a lot of fun. Soulbinder is a lot of fun. Like, all of the things on here I find are just a lot of fun. And some of the good things with using the Handler, a Lightning Axe, and the slow abilities, you can get a lot of, like, some mileage, not necessarily a lot. You can maximize it more. Good mileage out of the Ahanai Crystal. If you want this, you do have to beat Yesha on hardcore. So, you know, it's a little more involved to get. Wind Hollow Circlet, not super amazing, but it does help with our crossbow because the reload speed is going to increase how quickly you can shoot out crossbow bolts. Stone of Balance is fantastic just because we've got a lot of different sources of damage between our skill damage with the dog, the bleed, or not the bleed, but the lightning on the Krell Axe, the, you know, physical damage of our guns, and then I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not sure where it says shares 60% of damage dealt. I mean, I guess if you're just increasing your base damage, it's just going to be sharing more damage, so that's kind of nice. And then Archer's Crest is just nice for the Bolt Driver and even the projectile speed on a crossbow, but if you wanted, you would get even more mileage out of it with the Sagittarius, which I have a love-hate relationship with, so that is pretty much it. We could try and do a boss, which maybe I'll do that. I'll try and get you guys a boss. We'll do that. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to do a boss. The video is already way more than long enough. I did fight one. We won. Did take a few tries. It took a few tries. But yeah, that's a build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Got to learn some things, ideas for you to try out, things like that, yada, yada, yada. But I always appreciate you checking it out. And as always, take care.